All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Hurley Investments Market View Commentary for August 5th, Monday, after a huge scare this morning. I've asked a question to the group. Who do I have here with me today? I guess when you have a big drop in the market like today, guess who's going to show up to your webinar? Jump in your office, be sitting down, relaxing herself? Yes. The one, the only, Andrea Marie Hurley. My wife is here. Andrea, say hi to the group.
Hi, group.
Gotta talk louder. The microphone's over here at the desk.
Hello, group.
Hopefully you guys could hear that. My wife is in here today listening to my commentary. So that probably tells you that enough happened today that it scared her about how the market's reacting and what we're doing to invest. Shocking. I think it's been a while since my wife has attended one of these webinars. But here we go. We're starting out pretty common, or a pretty good thought. What do you do when you first wake up and the market's getting crushed? So that's my question to the group. What do you do when you first wake up and the market's getting crushed? Give me some thoughts really quickly. And they can be silly, they can be dumb, but I really want you to think about what you're doing. That's cheating, Bill, but it's the perfect answer. Stop. In grade school back in the day, really, in grade school back in the day, we had this stop, drop, and roll. I'm going to change it to stop, drop, and relax. And it's amazing. Hey, Jim, welcome. In fact, Jim, you missed it here just a second ago. My wife is here today. So just to give you guys an idea, my wife is sitting here in the webinar listening today because the market has her worried enough that she wants to listen to me and hear what's going on. So pretty neat that my wife, Andrea Hurley, is sitting here listening to us today. But there are a couple other questions or things that you guys just mentioned. I'm going to write some of these down because it's really important on days like today to understand the process. Wait the first hour. Why do we wait the first hour? We let the E-mini futures clear out. Rarely are they in there more than a half hour, but we let those E-mini futures clear out. Wait the first hour. Look after the first hour for the trend. Love it. Very smart, very wise. Where was the other one you guys said? Boy, you guys are putting so many in. There you go. That was from Lee. Lee made the comment, 100% correct. Don't jump for the sell button. And I'm going to give you two examples of that. My phone started blowing up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Some of you are new. Some of you, thank you for respecting my time. Some of you didn't do a great job this morning respecting my time. But I understand. And I know some of you are new, so this is just, this is not a criticism. I'm here to help. At 5 o'clock, my phone started blowing up. And there was a couple mistakes made today that were awful, that were absolutely awful. You are not qualified to be trading after hours. That includes before the market opens. I'm not qualified. Even though I can do it, I'm not qualified either. Those before and after hours, truly the qualifications are for institutional traders only. Yes, that doesn't mean that we don't have the opportunity to do that. But you are not qualified, even if you can, to be trading after hours. Sell order for Meta, and I think it's for all after hours, can only be done with a market order. $25 spread. And this sucks. 1,000 shares sold with Meta down $52 this morning. That is a $52,000 loss this morning on Meta on 1,000 shares. I guess I wouldn't say a loss. We don't know if it's a loss. It might have been bought a lot earlier. But it was $52,000 down from the day before. 52K down from the day before, which was last Friday. Meta closed only down $12.41. And I'm not naming names, but someone this morning panicked and sold Meta for $40,000 less than they could have got at the close for today. As we talked, my suggestion, not knowing what was going to happen, the market did finish off didn't say finish off. The S&P did open up down today 5.93%. Was the worst that I saw the S&P 500 down. It was almost 6%. So I understand the fear and the panic. But Meta was sold today 1,000 shares for $40,000 for $40,000 more of a loss than you could have if you held on to it at the end of the day. But I'll be honest with you, if you held on to that first hour, it probably would have saved you $10,000 or more. That is a huge amateur learning mistake. You can't do it again. Kevin, what if? I understand. What if it continued down? Then yes. Today, and only today, you might have lost more than 52K. Now, you could have sold it with us up at like 501. But you were hanging on to it to make more money And today you literally sold Meta down at $433. That's not how you hold on to it to sell it for more. That's a profit's a profit's a profit. When you take a profit, you don't look back and go, oh, I could have taken more. I know this was a painful day. I understand. But it could be the cost of learning. And it's just for today. Trading is in a process. The process of trading is that stocks go up and down. In fact, let me just put it again. I'm going to call it a couple different things. Investing, trading, life is a process, and it goes up and down all the time. The key: sell high and buy low. What I told you guys last week, we were protecting, and we raised a lot of cash on Thursday. We put a lot of that back on, and Thursday was a big up day last week. We did not take off everything. We just took off some things. We don't try to catch tops and tops and bottoms of bottoms. We just capture a portion of the wave as often as we can. The question, are you protected or not? I've got some things from last Friday to show you. S&P was down negative 1.84, but Hurley Investments was only down negative 0.32. We beat the S&P by 1.52% on Friday. Under Armour, last Friday, we were only making up half of the downward movement. That's what happens if you're putting protection on one of those big down days. On the flip side, and I hope you can appreciate this, some of you, on NVIDIA, 600 shares. We already had in place short calls. We already had in place long puts. On Friday, your stock lost $1,164 if you had 600 shares. Well, we made up $1,272. $1,272. We made $108 more than the stock lost. That is the process of what we're doing at Hurley Investments. Meta, we've already taken big profits on Meta, but we're using an option strategy called a bull call to give us the opportunity to make more on Meta. And we're getting some pretty good areas that we're understanding where we can start to take these off and put them back on again. On Friday, Meta was only down, well, I actually don't have what Meta was down. But Meta was down pretty big on Friday. I want to say it was like $22. On a $22 drop on Meta, we were only down at $127.50. We were losing $257.50 on our stock replacement strategy. Our protection made us $130. On a $22 drop on Friday on Meta, on what's covering 100 shares. So if you do 100 shares, it should have been a $2,200 loss if you had the shares. We lost $127.50. Ford. Sometimes when these big volatility spikes occur, things get out of control. Ford on Friday lost $330. The protection made $195 more than the loss. Kevin, there's something wrong. No, these are closing prices. When you get the big VIX that jumps higher, your stock sometimes loses $660, but you make up $1,050. No, it does not always work this way, but in the big drops, you get some amazing opportunities. Baidu, last Friday, 1.8%. Lost 772, we made up 700. Bank of America, we found out Buffett was getting rid of some. We lost $1,920 on 1,000 shares. We made up 1,500. Apple on Friday, good earnings. Apple was making $450. Our protection was losing us $420. It works both ways. Is anyone glad that we did not take off protection on Apple on Friday? Apple today, well, everything had a huge down day, so that's not fair to say. But Apple today lost $10.59. Thank goodness we did not take off our protection on Friday on Apple. Well, Kevin, we didn't make very much on Friday on Apple because we had protection on. I understand that. But again, some of these sayings, low tides sink all ships. Yes, Friday had an amazing earnings for Apple after the market closed on Thursday. Apple was up on Friday in a down market, closed up. But if we had another down day on Monday, like we did today, Apple wouldn't most likely, I guess it's not an exact, right? I went through certainty last week. Odds are Apple would have went down in a down market if we had one today. We had a crushing market today. Yes, we kept your Apple protection on because the market did not warrant taking Apple protection off. Verizon on Friday, pretty cool. Verizon finished up for the day and the puts finished up for the day. Not only did you make money on the stock that moved a whopping 12 cents, but you also made an extra $100 on your protection that made money when Verizon was actually moving the wrong way against that protection. This is the beauty of what we do. I've got today here too. Kevin, that was just a one-off. Today's kind of weird. I need everyone to go check their Disney today. Disney shares. Disney wasn't too bad. Only lost 68 cents today. On 600 shares, you're down 411. On 700 shares, you're down $479.50. But on 600 shares with protection on, you made $645 on your protection on a stock that lost 411. On your stock that lost $479.50, You actually made $752.50. It's not a typo. When the VIX moves so quickly, the algorithms go out of whack. Everyone check your Disney today and see how neat it is to make more than your stock loses. It's interesting because as Keeve and I went through things, we've got another one. Unbelievable. Don't push fund sales through. Anyone know when fund sales close? If you're closing a fund, when do they close? If you're going to sell a fund, you put an order in the morning, when do they close? Anyone know? Mod, we took nothing off on Thursday. We actually were putting more stuff back on. We did take some stuff off and roll some stuff down on Wednesday, or up day last week. End of day, perfect. I got 3 end of day. Fund sales typically close end of day unless someone pushes for an immediate sale. Shocking. The market was down today roughly 3%, right? Market, where were we at? 3% on the nose. 3.00 is where it filled out. I thought it was 3.03. 3% on a 3.00. Let's put a negative on there. 3.00% down. S&P 500. Someone else lost roughly 10% of their total portfolio, pushing the sales through. You just gave your broker 7%. And I know they don't follow exactly at 5.93% this morning being down. You shouldn't have lost 10% of the net portfolio. That just goes to show you that those funds were not tracking the S&P. They were off by 4%, 4.25%. Don't push the sale through. They're brokers. They're self-clearing. They pushed it through and you just gave them 7%. 7.25%. I'm just going to make this simple. I understand because I've made some of these same mistakes, or I have seen most of these mistakes. I see most of these mistakes happen in real life. That's why I do these webinars. I'm trying to give you people the understanding, you guys, the understanding of real events and what's happening. That is what's going on. I do these webinars every Monday evening. Hour and a half, 2 hours to prepare like today, for the benefit that you guys can learn through others' mistakes and not make those same mistakes yourself. I hope this is helpful. I don't think there's another broker out there that'll spend an extra 12 hours a month, maybe closer to 15, to get them uploaded and everything, and push Dave to help me get these going. But I do this so you see those mistakes. I've got one more. Are you protected or not? That's the question, right? Are you protected or not? Please enjoy precious metals were no protection today. Commodities were no protection today. Energy was no protection today. Crypto was no protection today. I haven't gone through everything, so I'm going to say this tongue in cheek. FX. And if you don't want FX, that's currency trading. FX offered no protection today. I'm going to make a very interesting comment. And they're not here today. And not only are they not here today, but one of you knows this individual. So do not point out a name. Last Wednesday, a certain individual posted online $1 million. That's not right. That doesn't add up. Could it have been? It's a $500,000. He called it $1 million. It's a $500,000 monthly gain in Bitcoin at 60K price. Mentioned living the dream. You suckers. You dummies. You will never be me. What else? What else did I miss here? There was one other one that I was going to do. That's right. You don't need anyone else. Not even God can make what I make. Thank you. Today, which is shocking, today sold everything at the open for a net loss of 25%, with Bitcoin down around 45K. Yes, God maybe got even. I'm kind of shaking my head why some people on one day, 1 week, 1 month, YouTube, living the dream. You suckers don't know what you're doing. You dummies don't know what you're doing. You'll never be me. You don't need anyone else. Not even I. Oh, it wasn't you. It was I. I don't need anyone else. Not even God can make what I make. And it was too much at the open. Then is millions of dollars. And if I'm doing my math right, I think they put 9 in and walked away with 7.5. So $1.5 million loss. Net. $2 million on, on the week or the couple days, but It was just too much. They're risk trading right at the open. And those risks are pretty easy. It's fear and greed, which is why we're doing what we're doing. Really quickly, the biggest concern is understanding what's causing this. And there are a ton of things that are causing this. But let's be honest. Valuations stretched or too high for Mag 7 and a few others, right? Some things have just run too far too fast. Mathematically, it may have made sense, but some things have run too far too fast. Now, I'm going to go through a couple other things because I think they're important for us to understand. Russia versus Ukraine. Israel versus most of the Middle East versus Saudi Arabia. If you think the wars don't matter, you've got to look at what's going into NATO and the fear that's in Europe right now with Russia and Ukraine. If you don't think the wars are affecting the gas prices, you need to look at the volatility in the futures. It's ridiculously scary. Yeah, I'm gonna do this one down here. Elections for the US. And I think I had it in here. This was sent to me by Phil Sorensen. We still keep in touch and we send stuff to each other all the time. Edward Down, BlackRock manager, 20 to 30% correction at the end of October. Welcome back, then the rally after the election. Elections, and I'm going to put might be a net loser for the US of A. I'm going to pick on both sides really quickly. Kamala, never been to the border, nor met with any top border patrol official. I think it's kind of funny because we used to worry about how much Trump is. Sorry, good question. I just got my train of thought deflected here. Oil prices are not reflecting Middle East unrest. Why? It's not necessarily an oil price problem. It is a region problem. And the concern is dirty bombs and a nuclear war. I think it's more of a catastrophic event, but I would say oil prices have been going up, and our country has been doing a pretty poor job of making money on the oil. So, Maud, that's my best explanation there. Here we go. 92% staff turnover rate for Kamala. I'm just going to make a couple comments. Failed the bar, but boyfriends got her in anyway. Easy things to pick on Kamala. Trump. Where did I find his notes? Let's face it. Can't stop being a jerk. Won't shut up. And degrading to others he doesn't like. Impulsive, which I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's not looked upon nicely. When we get to the real part of things that's going to hurt Trump, and I want to say it differently, but you can't. Women lawsuits against him, whether they're true or not. Stance on abortion and possible criminal penalties. I'm just trying to say that the election right now is up in the air, and it will probably affect the markets, and it's going to affect our country. But at a time being, it was seen if Trump gets in, tax cuts go on, pro-business will move America forward. Right now, the sentiment does not show that. Right now, the sentiment does not show that. And the comment was just made, impulsive as a president is a disaster. How does this affect the stock market? It affects it negatively. 100%. It's not good. Stock markets like consistency, it likes being bored. It likes no surprises. It's not good right now on either side of the aisle. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, I agree, things might get really bad between now and the election. And Keeve and I are figuring it out. We have found ways to make more money on the way down than we're losing. And it's a process. Please don't judge us on the individual days, but look at it over a week and be pleasantly surprised where things are at. I need to go down to the trading because I'm going to spend an hour with you, but that only gives me 14 minutes. Drea, you still doing okay? Still good? I got a thumbs up from the wife. Thank goodness. Questions are, how are we looking to trade? Protection on everything. We'll take some off for the day, but add it back on at the money by the end of the day. Not planning on taking everything off. due to volatility. So, futures look really good tomorrow. Some things look ridiculously well. I'm going to look at extended hours. Apple up $2.58, which would bring the price to $211.85. We have 225 puts in place. Baidu up 81 cents at 83.20. It actually wasn't down much today, even though it was 2.5%. But it did break some levels of support, so they'll probably keeping Baidu puts on no matter what tomorrow. Disney at $88. We're probably rolling puts to $88 or $89 from 91 to capture our profit. Ford's up 17 cents, but we're letting Ford get called away here in 2 weeks at $14.50. General Motors back above 40. That's a big one. We have $45 puts on General Motors. We'll probably roll those down to at the money. Google's up $1.65, back above 160.90 cents. It closed below 160. Because it closed below 160, we're a little hesitant to take puts off of Google. Meta up $9.02. We don't have puts on Meta. We have our spreads. We might take off the short side and add them back on at the end of the day with a run tomorrow. Micron up $1.62. It held 90. With the drop today, it held 90 at 90.42. We will most likely be rolling puts on Micron down to 90. NVIDIA up $3.11. A key point for NVIDIA today, it held 100. It broke it several times and came back up. There seemed to be a buy order at 100 by the millions. So it looks like NVIDIA, whether it's self-induced or not, has a put stop at 100 with millions of shares to be purchased there. NVIDIA, we might be rolling the put protection down, but keeping the shorts where they are up at a higher price to try to make some more credit. Square, keeping protection on even though it's up $1.09 after hours. Under Armour down to $6.37, not moving in after hours. We have $7 puts on. We're going to keep protection on Under Armour. Verizon up 12 cents, but not above 40. If we see Verizon above 40, we'll take that put protection off for a profit. And I think that's where we're at right now. So questions, I want to give you guys 10 minutes for questions. What questions do you guys have for me that I can go over with you? Technically held the 200-day moving average on the NASDAQ. Didn't even come down to test it on the S&P, but we did test 5,100. 5,000 might be the bottom test on the S&P 500. And we broke right through the 50-day on the Dow today, but didn't get down to the 200-day either. So questions for me, guys. What questions do you have that I can answer for you? While you're typing those in, interesting article on how Bitcoin tumbled this morning. Interesting article on what happens when this Fed cuts rates. Fed Chair Powell gave on Wednesday exactly what the market wanted. And an article on the 10 worst states retiring in the USA. Just things for you guys to click on and understand. What questions do you guys have? Great question. So let me go through that one. Are your decisions already made? And so, no. What I'm telling you tonight, and I just went over those stocks, if everything reverses tomorrow, we're keeping what we have on that's way in the money and running it down even more. So no, our decisions are not made. They're fluid. I might tell you something tonight and do the opposite thing tomorrow based on what the market's doing. We're not your typical stockbrokers. We don't put it all in and it runs, and we give you, if you call us today, we don't answer. We're like, you just got to wait it out. It'll come back. Some things don't. Some people's risk tolerance aren't that lenient. Mine's not that lenient. My wife's she's in my office tonight listening to this. No, our decisions are not already made. We're giving you our game plan, but again, much like a sport, if the game plan's not going to work the next day, you adjust it, you change it. You see what the market offers you, and it would be stupid to take protection off if we have another down day tomorrow. Yes, I could roll it down, but then we lose all this in the money, making dollar for dollar or close to it. We really come to each day and approach it as we see it. But there's some common things. It would be foolish to take all the protection off on one up day. We saw that last Wednesday. It was one up day. We took protection off for the day, put it back on at the end of the day. Thank goodness, because the market was down I'll tell you how much the market was down. On Thursday last week, market was down 1.37. On Friday, it was down 1.84. Can you imagine if on a 1.58 up day, we took all the protection off and then let you lose 3.11% or more the next couple days? Excuse me. It's not an all or nothing. Someone asked me today, boy, things are getting cheap. What should I do? Well, the correct answer after the fact was just throw all your money in. What was suggested was, hey, if you want to buy 200 shares, pick up 50. At the East Coast lunch hour, pick up another 50. At 1 o'clock, pick up another 50. The last 10 minutes, pick up another 50. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Don't gamble with your retirement, with your portfolios. Let some common sense occur. But you know what? I honestly think the crash of 2008 ruined 3 generations of people. 3 generations, which is what, a 15 to 20 year overlap, 16 to 20 years. It ruined those investors. The people that were retired can't risk a 2008. The people that are trying to grow their accounts can't risk losing 50% plus. The millennials who thought they had it figured out don't have jack squat figured out and lost 70 to 80% of their stuff. Sorry if that's beating up on you a little bit. I'm just, no, you've got to remain fluid. It's like the market's a living organism. Sometimes it needs water, sometimes it needs sunlight, sometimes it needs shade, sometimes it needs food, sometimes it needs medication. You've got to treat it as such. You can't invest as a hobby, as something you're doing on the side. It's a full-time job. It's 40 hours a week. It's doing the research. It's finding things out. It's not because China put a rate hike in. It's, someone sent me a text recently. Are you reading / agreeing the drop was from the yen decrease from their first hike? No. It doesn't line up. It doesn't coincide. The currency didn't coincide. None of that makes sense. It's just something new that someone brought out that someone tagged along to. Go look at currency and movements. Go see if money entered or came out of the market. Are you reading / agreeing that the drop was from the yen decrease from their first hike? Doesn't make sense. Those numbers don't add up. You can't make those add up. So just thinking out loud that that I'm not sure that's what I would like to be. Don't try to fit a square peg into a round hole so you think it'll make sense for you. You've got to have some proof or so. I use numbers. Not saying that you have to use numbers, but if the numbers don't add up, the numbers don't add up, and I'm not looking to find square pegs to fit into round holes. Okay, any other questions? I don't see anything else coming in. So, okay, let's call it for the night. I appreciate you guys being here. I do hope this gives you some comfort and some help, honey, that you can see where protection was on, how things happened on Friday, how things happened today. Keep sending me emails or texts. If more things are worrying you, or that especially for the next week or two, I want to be an open book. So comments, concerns, questions, texts, calls. You guys have my number. You know how to reach me. I'm completely open to be helpful today. Please look at your accounts. See that you're not down 3% on a 3% down day in the market. Go look at Disney and see how protection can make more than your stocks are losing. Get a comfort level for a process, not necessarily an event. And see how the process goes. We're really excited to add some shares at these prices right now. And there are a lot of shares we want to add with some of the cash that you guys were sitting on last week and more that we're going to be adding this week. So with that said, I don't see anything else coming in. Guys, I appreciate you being here tonight. I truly hope this was helpful. I'm going to work with Dave and get this posted this evening. So here we're going to have to do some editing and some ums and some coughs and so forth. But we're going to do everything we can to push this out as soon as possible so you guys have access to look at it and see it again. Appreciate you guys being here tonight. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Good night, everyone.